So now we're going to be talking about Chrome OS. And the very first point is we want to differentiate it from the Chrome browser. So obviously Google makes the Chrome browser. It's also sort of an open source project with the Chromium project, which once again keeps it up to date. And it's a mix between open source, and then they have the sort of enterprise version of it, which is Chrome Enterprise, which we'll cover here in a minute. But it is different than the Chrome browser. It's a little bit of an evolution from the Chrome browser. And it's based off of a Linux operating system, but basically that's where the similarity ends. It has a lot more security features than just a basic Linux distribution, and we'll talk about some of that here in a little bit. The other really big thing about Chrome devices that we really like are just that enterprise grade form factor. And there's a lot of different form factors of the devices too. So this isn't something that's just a system on chip or like a Tinkerboard. It's a full-blown enterprise grade hardware solution. And there's a bunch of different form factors. You see a couple on the screen here. There's an AOPEN Chromebox Mini, which is sort of an entry-level but ruggedized device. So it's still a pretty capable device. But it's also ruggedized too, and it's pretty small form factor too. So it's something that you can put on the back of the, just mount directly to the back of the monitor or on the wall. And the overall dimensions are only something like 6 inches by 4 inches by less than an inch thick. So it's a pretty small device, and it's still very powerful for what it is. There's a couple other Chromebox variants too, and then also all-in-ones, which are called Chrome bases. And we'll once again touch on one of those examples here in a little bit. But one of the key things about Chrome OS and Chrome devices is, once again, it's got that enterprise, it's production ready. It's not a Tinkerboard. It's not something you have to, design a case for. It's not something that's sort of fly by night. It's a enterprise grade solution that you can mount and you can leave it, and it's going to last for a long time. One of the big one is remote management, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. One of the sort of comparisons between other possible hardware solutions is that remote management interface. Some other parts, you have the ability to lock it down into a single app kiosk mode. So we'll talk about that once again in comparison to some other platforms. But you have the ability to select a single app, and it's only going to go to that application after a reboot, and it's hard to get out of it and sort of tamper with it. It's a very secure way to do signage. The last part is it's really easy to get started. So with the admin console, you can set it up, you can pair it to your domain. There's other ways to do a trial and set up sort of a standalone admin console. So you don't have to necessarily have a large infrastructure. You can sort of have a standalone admin console and manage just a couple devices. Or for clients that already have a lot of Chrome devices, it's very popular in education. You can use your existing licenses, or if you have like a extra licenses sitting around or a site license, you have the ability to enroll these devices in that same admin console.